Whoa. This angle for the Skeletor face. Wow. Hi guys, welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you're all well. I hope you are all happy. If you are a regular viewer, thank you so much for being here. I really hope that you're enjoying these prep updates and the little videos in between. If you are new to the channel, this is my channel, welcome. We discuss all things fitness. Right now I'm on prep, so discussing all things prep. And we also discuss a little bit of travel and things like that as well. So if you're interested in keeping up to date, remember to subscribe down below. We'd love to have you as a regular viewer on the channel as well. So yeah, I think I'm a little bit lighter than when I last saw you guys. My face certainly feels it. Yeah, things are coming in quickly now. I'm just under 3 weeks out from the IFBB Amateur Olympia Alicante. We are pretty much on track, I'd say. I'm pretty happy. It's just, as always, girls, we all know what it's like on prep, that back end glutes coming in. So that is what I'm working on right now in terms of bringing my glutes in, working really, really hard every day, ticking every single box. I am enjoying this prep. It's been nice and steady and my body has been responding how we'd expect it to. Obviously, we come up to a little bit of like unstuckness with the glutes, but once we get them lean, like the first time is always the hardest, and I've never really been exactly where I want to be with my glutes and the back of my legs. So once we've done that, it'll be happy days going from there. So fairly happy. Still got, like I say, just under 3 weeks, well 2.5 weeks to make some ground on that. So yeah, I'm expecting another couple of kilos to come off, hopefully, in those areas. Today, I am going to give you a little bit of an update as to where I'm at. Obviously, my 3 week out check-in and what Jordan has said about that as well, our kind of plans going forward. And yeah, I'm going to talk to you about something that I think is really, really important. So today I'm actually going to talk to you about self-love and self-care. Last week was Mental Health Awareness Week, and some of the statistics were really, really shocking. Like, it's crazy. Like, the 1 in 4 people are actually diagnosed with a mental health issue at some point in their life. And I think we all go through periods of our life where we are affected by it. Now, I don't think mental health, from my experience with it, is a thing that it's like you have it or you don't. Like, it doesn't, I don't like it to identify me, but we all have periods in our life where we may enter it and come back out of it again, and it's important to really step back and think about what puts you in that situation, what environment makes you feel in a certain way, and really take as much control as you can. So I'm going to share a little bit around my sort of story with my previous mental health, I'm not going to say issues, because it's just a period of my life where my mental health was a little bit more challenged, and how I really have systems in place now to protect that, which is something that I pride myself in. We all are going to have highs and lows, guys, but it's something that I pride myself in, is having protection systems in place to really protect my mental health as much as I can. I also reached out to you guys on Instagram. I asked for some questions in terms of self-love and self-care. I got some really good questions. I'm going to pick out just 3 today to answer on the end of this as well. I hope I can really give you a little bit of a handle on kind of how I deal with the things that you asked about as well. Just to give you a little bit of a background, really, really quick backstory, grab yourself a coffee, get comfy. I've been in the fitness industry for the past, what are we now, 2019, probably say 6 years, 5-6 years. I was a dancer growing up, so I've always sort of been aware of my body, and from a young age, well, young teenage, I was wanting to fuel my body well. I was wanting to push my body, and I was really proud of what my body could do. So I've already had that kind of mindset around my body, and like treating it well and pushing it, and being like, the human body is an amazing thing, how can we push it, and things like that. So yeah, that's always been like my passion. But my actual job, my career, up until about, well, just coming up to a year ago now, I was in retail management. So I was a manager for a large lingerie brand, which you will all have heard of, and is represented by Angels. I'm sure you know which brand it is. And I absolutely loved that brand. Like, I loved it. I ate, lived, breathed that brand while I was working for them. Worked my way up through my career, and yeah, I went to sort of a new step in my career, and we'd opened a new store, and the environment that I was in was really badly affecting my mental health. So what I loved about the brand was that it was so sort of, it really put time into developing it to associates, and we talked about like feelings and how we made the customer feel, and that came from how we felt and everything. And all of a sudden in this new environment, that was kind of flipped on its head, and it was something that I was not familiar with. It was a management structure and team, well, not even a team, like the majority of the team was like, we were a great team, but there were certain people here and there, like there always is, that you don't always gel with and that bring a different dynamic to a team. But it really knocked me off my feet. I was in a city that I wasn't familiar with. I'd moved to Manchester, which isn't a million miles away from where I live now, but it wasn't my home. And then my environment, my working environment, was making me really unhappy as well. So yeah, that kind of snowballed very quickly. I started having panic attacks, anxiety attacks, and I was always reaching out thinking, what can I do to make this better? And always reflecting on myself. I always self-reflect as to how I can change my outlook and my response to things. But there are some things, and you have to acknowledge, there are some things that you cannot control and you cannot change. So you can only worry and stress and control as much as you are able to. And when it got to that point and I realised I'd controlled all that I could, my other half was like, do you know what? Enough is enough. Like, you can't do this anymore. You're giving up your life for, effectively, as much as you love the job, somebody else's company, somebody else's brand. Like, is that worth it? You're giving up your happiness. And I literally stood back and was like, do you know what? He is right. My actual passion in life is fitness. I've been competing for years. I was still, a consistently top placing amateur. And that was my passion, and helping other people. And I had my PT qualification, and I was like, do you know what? It's always been that fear of taking the leap. And thankfully, my other half, we were in a position where he was able to support that transition. And I literally walked into work and I handed in my notice, and I just was like, I can't do this anymore. And I made that transition. And thankfully, due to the relationship I had with the brand, I was able to drop my hours slowly as I built up my self-employment, which I am forever thankful for. It helped really allowed me to build up what now is my passion and my own business, and without that support I couldn't have done that. So yeah, that's where we are now. So right now, obviously, being self-employed and having a business is its own type of stress, but it's a stress that I am much more willing and accepting of than if I was giving up my life for something that wasn't my own, if you know what I mean. That's where we are now. So right now, obviously, as you guys know, I am a bikini competitor. I am now this year, well, I did last year, but just missed out on that pro card last year. This year I'm on that track and course, and hopefully, fingers crossed, close, we hope, to getting that pro card this year. I will relentlessly work until I can get it. So on the quest to become a professional athlete, I am a personal trainer, an online coach, and a posing coach as well. So I'm very much kind of hybrid in all of the things that I love about the fitness industry. It's working out really well. At the moment, there is always going to be teething problems. And do you know what? It's been such a learning curve this year, and I continue to learn every single day as to how I'm able to manage all of those hats. But yeah, I'm so much happier now that I am doing what I love every day. Like, this is my passion. And when I have hard days, like we all have hard days, I look back and think, yeah, but think about how it used to be. And I was like, almost like stepping out of myself when I went into work. Like, this was the real me, like where my passion was in fitness, and then I had to step out of myself, like for my work days, and I was like, it was just strange. So I'm just so happy that I get to do this full time now. That's a little bit of a background around my mental health. I kind of really stepped back and developed my own kind of safety mechanisms for really protecting my own mental health from there, which I think is really important, especially if you're stepping into self-employment, because it's a completely different world. So I'm just going to share with you guys a few tips as to how I protect myself and give myself that self-love and self-care, which is so important. Guys, think about it, if you have got a cup, right, and you pour all of your attention, all of your energy, all of your happiness away to other people and other things, you have nothing left for yourself, and then eventually there's nothing else to give. And and you just become unhappy and you treat other people badly. So you have to make sure that your cup is always topped up enough for you to be able to then give that out again. So it's so important to protect the water in your cup and keep that fully charged. So that is where self-care comes in. And if you can take that time to recharge, make sure there's water in your cup, you're going to be more successful in the other areas of your life, because you will remain happy in those areas, you will remain motivated, you will have energy to give to your clients, to give to your family, your loved ones. But you have to, it starts with you, and it starts with making sure that that cup is maintained and that you put energy into and focus into developing these habits and of self-care and putting yourself first, because you can't address anything else with your full attention until you've made sure that you are happy and that you are in the best place you can be. So here's my tips in terms of taking care of yourself and how I take care of myself as well. Taking time for you. This sounds really, really simple, but it's something that a lot of us don't do. In my schedule in my day, I will look at where I can take time for me. Now, some days that is literally just my hour of cardio in the morning. Some days that is not the time for me to just sit there and take time for me or to take a bath or anything like that. But then I'll schedule that accordingly. So if I've got my cardio to do in the morning, I'll either, if I've got a lot of work to do, I'll make it productive. So I'll answer emails, I'll schedule social posts, things like that. That way it's kind of a weight off for later in the day, so I know that'll benefit me. If I have got some time in the day to get like admin-y type bits like that done, then I will literally take that hour and I will just chill the F out. Well, as much as I can at like a 135 heart rate. But I will like put YouTube on. My other passion is Disney, so I will watch Disney stuff on YouTube, like, and I will just zone out and chill and enjoy that hour. And that's my time for me. It starts my day. I've either been productive and got ahead, or I've taken my time for myself to recharge. So yeah, take time for you, schedule it in like you would schedule a client, like you would schedule a meeting, schedule time for yourself. So whether that's in the morning when you do your cardio, or I like to maybe wind down in the evening, if not, just an hour or so before I go to bed, where I just watch something mindless and just completely switch off and wind down. Take time for yourself. It is so important. Switch off your phone. This is particularly a thing, I think, if you're self-employed, or if you are someone who gets easily bogged down by like social media and things like that, or if you fall into the trap of like scrolling, just switch off your phone. Have a certain amount of time in the day where you and your partner or you and your family are spending time together and the phone's off or it's face down in the other room. Just try and disconnect from that world for a little bit. It's so easy to just lose hours just scrolling in a world where it is fictional. So yeah, okay, a lot of us work on our phones now, our emails attached to our phone, a lot of us work through social and things like that, but it's so important to have that time away and to actually be, you know, present in the real world. So make sure that you do have a little bit of time where your phone is either face down in the other room where it can't distract you, or it's switched off, just to have that zone out time and really take in the world that is around you, because it's so easy to just lose time staring into that phone. Going for a walk, again, right now, so appropriate because I need to get steps in like all the time, but going for a walk can really, really recenter your head. So even if it's just in the morning, going for a brisk walk, getting outside, if it's in the evening while the sun's setting, especially now the nights are so light, it's an excuse to get outside, guys. Get the dog out if you've got a dog. Be active and just get the blood pumping. Get outside, get the sun on your skin, take in the world around you, go somewhere nice, drive out somewhere. And we're so lucky that we live close to the water. So where we live is on a peninsula. So we have like 3 out of the 4 sides of where we live are onto water. So whether that's like the River Dee or the River Mersey or out to the sea, we have really nice views sort of everywhere. So we really take advantage of that. Go out for a walk, recenter your head, and again, it's about taking that time for you and just really trying to be present in the world around you. Invest in yourself. Now, this isn't just for people like that are self-employed, but in terms of us as trainers and coaches and things like that, invest in yourself. So, you know, courses, books, education, like invest in you, because basically, if you're always fueling your brain, not only are you going to be a better coach and you're going to be better at your job and you're going to be able to offer your clients a lot more, but you will feel better about yourself as a person as well. You'll have a lot more respect for yourself when you are really investing in yourself and educating yourself and building yourself up. Rather than buying things, buy something that's going to level you up. This is literally why I call my brand Level Up, because life is about leveling up, and it doesn't mean you've got to be like hardcore, go, go, go all the time, like hustle, hustle. It just means level yourself up, whether that's on a spiritual, educational, mindset perspective, anything. Whether you buy a book about mindset, or whether you buy a book about spirituality or meditation, something that's going to move you forward and teach you something about yourself. You're investing in you, and you're showing that self-respect. Now, you're not only showing that to the world around you, you're showing it to yourself, which is the most important thing, because it's going to affect how you act and the vibe that you radiate out as well. And in terms of like, if you are not self-employed, you can still invest in yourself in terms of your mindset, and what you take to your role in work, what you take to your family, to your friends. Investing in you to become the best version of yourself it's apparent to anyone. We've all got families, you know, children. You want to be the best you for yourself and for them as well. So invest in yourself, not just through books and through education. Invest in yourself through going to a gym, through keeping yourself healthy, through eating better, through getting active, making more sensible choices. This is all investing in yourself, building yourself up. Not only will you be a better person for the people around you, but you'll have a lot more self-respect as well, and in turn that'll make you feel so much better. Switch the TV for books and podcasts. This is something I did years ago. Now, don't get me wrong, I do still have a TV for like streaming things, especially like YouTube and documentaries and stuff like that, and for just general switch off. But as a habit, I would switch off the TV and not have it running all the time. Like, you don't need to see that crap. Like, you don't need to see people whinging about their lives. You don't need to see like mindless stuff, like soaps and drama. Like, who wants more drama in their lives? Like, life's dramatic enough as it is. And yeah, switch it out for books, for podcasts, for things that are going to educate you and again level you up, teach you something. Even if it's just an audio book, you have it playing in the background. Things that are really going to help you out rather than pull you down. We can all obviously switch off and watch something that we enjoy, but really think about if you're actually enjoying what you're watching, or if it's actually stressing you out a little bit without you realizing and actually pulling you down. Like, because some of these programs are just mindlessly annoying, and it just adding extra drama to your life, and like it puts you in like whinge mode. I don't know, but try for a few days switching out mindless TV for a podcast and learning something, and just how amazing that feels to be constantly learning and leveling up. Like, again, it'll make you feel great about yourself and great about where you're going as well. Don't worry about the opinions of others. Again, this is something that I implemented years ago, and I can tell you right now, if I worried about the opinions of others, I would not still be bodybuilding. I would not be in the fitness industry. I would not have made the leap to come out of a job and go down my own route. You can't worry about the opinions of others, and it doesn't matter who they are. They could be close family, they could be friends, they could just be colleagues at work. Like, it's your life, not theirs, okay? So don't worry about opinions of others. A lot of the time when people are trying to pull you down or they have something to say, it's because they've come from a similar place to you and they've not managed to get anywhere else. So they're trying to pull you back. I promise you that the people that care about you, even if they initially try and pull you back, they eventually, when you are happy and you're doing what you want to do, and they see you thriving, they will be happy for you. Definitely use this example, as I know that my parents were a little bit skeptical when I got into bodybuilding back in the day, and I think putting so much time and effort into it as well, and it was kind of overtaking everything. But I've got a vision and a goal, and I know where I want to be, and I'm determined that I will get there and make that my career. At the time, we couldn't see that end goal, and I think a lot of people were a bit like, oh, and obviously worried about the health aspect that comes with it, with the dieting and everything like that, especially with the sport. But now, really, like, my mum is my best friend and biggest supporter. Like, people will say things like, oh yeah, how can you not like resist that food? And she's got a goal, like she has a goal. I'm like, whoa. But like, it's so nice, like, and I just love having that support, and she gets it, and she's seen me go through this before, and she now believes in what I believe in, and she believes in me, and it's just so nice to be at that place. But 9 times out of 10, guys, it will start off with these people really worrying about you, but that's why you've got to stay focused and stay focused on what you want your life to be and how you envision your life, and make sure that the actions that you're taking are feeding into that. I'll just make you so much more focused and so much more sort of driven to the goal of what you want from your life, rather than just coasting through life from Monday to Friday, drinking on a Saturday, Sunday, and going back to work on a Monday and not really knowing where you want to be. Whatever it is in life, give yourself the goal and the focus, and make sure that what you're doing supports that. Don't get stuck in that kind of rat race mentality, because I think that's where we all get a little bit bogged down. Make sure that you have a passion that is yours and you feed that, as well as work commitments, family commitments, things like that. You need to remember to feed your passion. Fitness is my passion and I eat, live and breathe it, but I also have other things that make me me. So like, I love Disney. I love Disney. I used to work for Disney out in the States. I have got a Disney family. I've been brought up going to Orlando. We have got Disneyland Paris annual passes. We go all the time to Disney, and that is my other passion in life. So I love Disney parks, and that's my other thing, like my zone out thing, and that's just for me, and that's mindless and what I love. And so it's important to know who you are, what makes you happy, and the things that you can switch off from as well, to feed those parts of you and keep yourself a full, rounded, happy human. I think this is so important for prep as well. You need to make sure that you keep sight of what makes you you in a prep. So I give everything to a prep. Obviously, I am a bikini girl and I identify as a bikini girl. I know people say, oh, you know, what will you do when the sport's not there? Like, I have other things and they keep me balanced out. So, you know, I have my family and my friends, but bodybuilding is a passion. It's still okay to identify as a bodybuilder or as a bikini girl. Like, it's still okay to identify as that. I definitely do. I love the sport and I love everything that I do with it. So that is me. These other things are also me. Like, I don't lose sight of myself, and it's important that you are a well-balanced and well-rounded human being throughout a prep as well. Remember, if you're serious about wanting to compete in a career and become an athlete, prep isn't just 12 weeks and then done. It's your whole life. So you need to make sure that you are all well-rounded, you know who you are, and you keep sight of that. So now I'm going to move on to the questions from you guys from Instagram. So thank you so much for asking these. I'm going to choose these 3 and go ahead with these. Is mental health a contributing factor to why you started to compete? No, I didn't start to compete because of mental health. I loved fitness. As I said, I was a dancer previously, and I think I actually just got more and more into the gym. So I actually started going to the gym at like 16, when it was like, you know, I wanted to look good in my dancing costumes and things like that. I danced about the age of 20, and as my dancing hours were decreasing as I was getting older, I was upping my gym hours because I was like, I need to fill this time and stay fit, which is, I think, a very logical decision to make for a teenager. I was like, I need to make sure that I'm filling in these hours that I would be dancing and staying active. So yeah, I just got into the gym and obviously was doing like the normal like cardio type stuff to begin with, and then I started weight training and realised I could like out squat my male friends. Broke up with a partner at the time, started spending more time in the gym, and just from a time perspective, not because I was like, oh, woe is me, like I just had more time on my hands where I put more effort into myself and developing myself. And someone just came up to me and said, oh, you know, you should do a bikini show. Did not even know they existed. And yeah, I was like, all right then, like, let's see where the next one is. And the closest one, I just searched for like bodybuilding bikini shows, and I was like, whoa, what is this world? Like, I didn't even know it was a thing. Looked at bikini girls and was like, oh yeah, I mean, I kind of look like them right now. The closest one was the UKBFF Northwest, which was a big show at the time. And I was like, yeah, cool, okay. It was like 4 weeks from that. I was like, oh, there's one in 4 weeks, cool. And my friend at the time was like, you do know, like, people prep for like 16 weeks for these shows. You can't just go on and like, just do it. And I was like, oh no, I think I'll be ready. Like, did some posing, everything, made my own bikini, and I came third and got to the British. So yeah, that was good. And then the next year I was competing at the Universe out in France and South Africa in the Europeans, and it just kind of spiraled from there. So no, it came from a place of like just wanting to better myself and having more time on my hands and a genuine love for sort of pushing my body. However, and I think that's why I've been able to have so much longevity with it, and why I do want to make it a career, because I genuinely love it. Like, I genuinely love bodybuilding, and I love pushing myself, and you know, like the scientific side of it, and what it's done for me mentally in terms of achievement and keeping me focused, and how that's filtered into my other areas of my life. that's why I've been able to do it for so long. That's why I've been able to stay so focused with it and push myself further, because I do it for those reasons. In terms of mental health and competing, it's something that we all sort of not struggle with, but we all kind of face periods of, I think, with competing. You can get a bit low after show, like we all go through that, and you know, those last few weeks of prep can be tough, but it's just about sort of staying focused and pushing the boundaries and making yourself, you know, you have to learn in prep about structure and how much structure you need in your life at that time. I've always been a structured person and I've enjoyed structure. I've never gone out and drank and things like that. Like, I've always been the one that's like, oh, I'll come out and I'll drive. Like, so this lifestyle really fits to me. So it's never something that I've kind of has masked my mental health or has caused really poor mental health issues. It's because I think it originated in that place of my life fits in really well and what I enjoy to do fits in really well with what's required. So yeah, it does help my mental health, training definitely. I think when I had my boob job and I couldn't train, my mental health suffered more than my physical health, 110%. The fact that I couldn't go to the gym was destroying me, not because I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna get fat, but because I love that kind of push in the gym and that mental release. And like I say, I love that structure. Like, so without competing and bodybuilding in the gym and stuff, like my mental health does suffer a bit. But that's why I think it's so important to have fitness in some way incorporated into your life, because it, again, feeds into you, helps build you up, helps you become the best version of yourself, and it gives you time for you to develop yourself. So yeah, it's not a contributing factor to why I started, but it's something that I think ties in, and I think for a lot of people mental health is a big why behind as well. So not for me, but I know it is a common issue. Second question is, being self-employed, how do you find switching off when people message you at silly hours? So this is one that I wanted someone to ask. So it doesn't matter what industry you're in, whether you are a trainer, whether you just like you run, I don't know, like a decorating business, anything, like, especially with coaching and training though, people will message you at any time, which is cool. Like, and I say to all of my clients, I am absolutely not a coach who is like, you can only contact me on this day. Like, they know that they can reach out to me. However, if I reply, I reply. I will reply within 24 hours. I will reply. However, I do schedule time. This is what's really important. How I get around that is scheduling time. I don't have like, oh, a message pops up, I'm going to reply straight away, unless it's like really urgent and you can tell it by like the first few words. But I have time where I go, okay, I know I've got some messages on Insta, some WhatsApp, maybe some emails, and I will reply to them all in one go when I have sat down at this time that I've put aside to answer messages. And that's a commitment I've made to myself. It's very important. And I think people forget sometimes that like an Insta DM, like for a lot of people, that is work. It's your business account. So that again will schedule and be fall into time when I'm answering emails and things like that. And I keep that very separate, and I have that certain time in the day where that is, you know, all done together. So that's a really important thing for me. I wouldn't say I ever completely switch off, because like I say, what I do is my passion and I love it. And if they were, and if my clients weren't reaching out to me, I'd be thinking about them anyway, like what I was gonna maybe change or adapt or how they're getting on. So we always kind of chat, and yeah, I don't really see it as a massive burden all the time. But if I'm having a day where, especially on prep, where I'm like, okay, work is this time and me is this time, I need to get this done, I will have time scheduled for each thing. And you've just got to commit that to yourself, to be an organised person, to schedule your time and to periodise and pocket your time throughout the day for certain things. And the last question is body dysmorphia, prep and off season. So it's not a question, but I know what you're alluding to. So body dysmorphia through prep and off season, a massive thing I think in terms of bodybuilding, and especially bikini with ladies, something that we go through in terms of our mental health. Dysmorphia, I don't know where the line is between obviously being a female and always questioning your body and actual body dysmorphia, but we all go through that in prep and off season. So you know, you always have that mindset. It's like where you're on prep and you're like, I can't wait to eat some food, or I can't wait to have energy. And then you go off season, you're like, I can't wait to be lean. Like, but then you're like in prep, I can't wait to lift heavy. Like, there's never a perfect ground. But you've just got to know what to expect and to take it as it comes. So like, you know that in off season, you're gonna feel a bit bigger than usual, but you've got to look at the positives. So me, for off season, I think what's important is controlling coming out of a show. So last year was the first time I really controlled that. I went straight with a new coach. I went with JP. I was straight onto a plan. And it was a well-controlled coming out. Obviously, we went on holiday straight after, but I was really poorly, and because I had such bad food poisoning, my gut was like wrecked, and I didn't actually absorb any nutrients, so I came back lighter than when I went. Sounds like the dream, but was horrific. So I got over that. Obviously, we got back on plan, and it was really well controlled. So the body fat that I did put on was fairly even everywhere. There wasn't any dramatic period of like stage lean to a few weeks later going, "Whoa!" Like, where did this come from? Like, it just kind of gradually, I just became a little bit bigger version of the person that I was. It was a massive thing. That gradual kind of every week just getting a little bit heavier, because you're not looking at yourself and suddenly not recognizing yourself. And also, I think focusing in off season on all the amazing things, like you can be social, you can go out and choose something healthy from a menu like that you can't do on prep. You can lift heavy in the gym, you've got loads of energy, you've got energy to spend time with your loved ones, to be mentally present. If you want to switch a session around here and there or take an extra rest day, you can. Your life's not completely dictated to. Like, you need to think about all the great things in off season. Also, like, just get back to having like a life as well, like that isn't just orientated around prep, especially if you're not like a professional competitor or whatever, but still giving yourself that structure, because at the end of the day, that structure is what's going to keep you kind of not almost being like, oh my God, how did I end up here? And looking at yourself, you've got to think about why we put that structure in place. Same again, if you are struggling with that structure and it's really making you feel restricted and really playing on your mind, then find a different way. Maybe track, maybe intuitively for a little bit to find what works for you, and the off season is the time to do that. And then you can kind of go, okay, am I in the best place to compete again? And then go from there. I think the way you handle off season will determine if you're in a good place to carry on competing. I think it's a telltale sign for me personally. And in prep mode as well, I think this is my 13th prep now, well, 13th show, so I've got very used to kind of, okay, we're pushing up here for this goal and now we bring it in for this goal. Like, I don't identify myself to, I am that person that is lean on stage. That's just a version of me throughout the year. And I think that's been really important as well. I don't attach too much to that image. Yeah, and I don't know, I feel like when I get about 2 weeks out of show, I don't really want to look like that all year round. Like, people are starting to ask me if I'm ill, like, and there's certain things that you really can't do that close to show, and your energy's low and things, and they're the kind of things you have to go, okay, this is what being this lean feels like, and that's not how I want to live my whole life. I think it's important to be really self-aware and know your happy place. Like, I know my happy place is when I'm a few weeks into prep and I'm a little bit leaner, but I've still got my strength, I've still got my energy, and it's like at a maintainable kind of rate. I probably wouldn't put, if we're happy with the muscle that I've built and how I look at this show, I probably won't put as much on off season. I mean, I didn't balloon by any means, but just because I like to feel confident all year round, not stage lean, but confident, and be able to do things as well, and have like a full life. So yeah, it's just stepping back and being a bit more objective and not attaching yourself too much to how you look, realising that the year goes like this and there's different versions of you, but you are still you. Like, it doesn't matter like if you're shredded or not. And I think like this off season was the first time I was looking at myself and being like, yeah, I just look like a bodybuilder. Like, because like my shoulders were popping and I was lifting heavy, and I was, that body was a result of having some awesome training sessions, and so I felt confident in it because I was having awesome sessions. So yeah, it's just going through the motions and appreciating the stage that you're at that time, I think, anyway. But body dysmorphia is such a wide spectrum, and if you have got actual body dysmorphia, then maybe it is something a little bit more serious that you can get looked into. But in terms of actually just managing your perception of yourself, that is how I would go about it, and that is how I go about it personally as well. Guys, I hope that gave you a little bit more insight into how I structure myself and protect my mental health, especially in the fitness industry through self-employment and things like that. It's so important to take care of yourself, guys, from the inside out, and that is something that I encourage with every one of my clients, because it starts and ends with you. And if you don't have that cup there, and if you don't invest time in yourself to stay active, to eat well, to make these decisions, then how do you give that out? How do you be that full person for other people. Yeah, I hope that gave you a little bit more insight, and I hope those answers answered your questions. So yeah, before I go guys, I'm just going to give you a really quick update about my check-in. So just done my 3-week out check-in with JP. I've changed quite a lot like in the past few weeks. The one on the left was last week, and then the right is this week. You can see that there. Is it going to focus? Okay, so this one is last week and this is this week. So we are coming in tighter, especially from the front, and then we have the rear shot as well. Again, glutes coming in a little bit sharper, but this is where my lower back, so my legs and my lower, that is where I hold that weight. So that is where we need to come off. Obviously that top half leaned right out, but that bottom half has never been 100% where we want it to be. So this is where it gets tough now, because it's never actually been there. We really need to pull it in. So yeah, that was my check-in, and yeah, Jordan was really happy. My feedback here. So obviously I did see JP the previous week at Body Power, so it was nice to actually see him in person. And he says, okay, let's make a change again. Very happy in capital letters with the look, but we do need the body fat on the ankles and the legs to get tighter this week, and it will. Smiley face. I completely agree. I'm happy with the look from the front, but we do need that back shot to get tighter. Like, glutes are so important in bikini, and yeah, like I say, I've always held it around my ankles as well, so we do need that to come in. So we have dropped some bits out, and pretty much at the only carbs being like 65 grams of rice post-workout. I get like 100 grams of pineapple before my training, but other than that, it's all, well, I say all fats. There's like 2 fat meals, and the fat content has reduced on them as well. Carbs are right down. Like I said, I don't know my actual macros because I choose not to work them out. But yeah, we are pulling it in tight now. We are still on an hour's fasted cardio a day. Still training. I have lost a little bit of energy. I have lost a little bit in terms of the load I'm lifting, and a couple of reps on a few exercises, but nothing too dramatic. But I am starting to feel that food drop now, and hopefully that is going to be the difference that will actually pull my legs in. I did have a bit of a struggle last week. That is why you did not see an update, but I will talk you through it now. It just mentally, like, was just drained all the time, and I was just getting, like, you know, starting to struggle. But then on ticking those boxes, like, you remember, those are the days that matter. Like, they're the days where you just need to push through, and that's what gives you that new result and that new level of condition. So yeah, I feel great this week. We are, like I say, 2 weeks out this coming weekend, so oh my god, it is so close now, and I just really want to get this last little bit off, push, and bring that sit condition from the back. Bikini should be arriving any time. There might be an exciting update to follow with that as well, but I can keep you guys updated. There's a little bit of additional work that I want to do on the bikini as well, just to bling it up a little bit. So yeah, I also got a really exciting delivery this week from my sponsor, which I will be showing you more towards show day as well. We'll be going through all of that. But yeah, just under 3 weeks out, guys. It is flying in, and I'm so excited. Like I say, I really hope that that helped you guys in some way. If you have any other questions, do drop them below. Thanks very much for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one.